Welcome to the Pulse of Peter Urbina. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today's show is brought to you by The Dream Project. You can find out more information about our friends at The Dream Project at the link at the bottom of your screen. And we are all the way, not all the way, only a few miles away from our home base in Hoboken in beautiful Nutley, New Jersey, at 358 Passaic Avenue, the beautiful Sugar Tree Cafe, and we're joined by an extremely special guest, the manager here at the cafe, and that is Maya Kiana Rivera. Maya, thank you for welcoming us. How are you today?
Good, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. You know, it's a beautiful day.
Thankfully.
So, you know, we were talking before the show started. There was a line out the door here.
Yeah.
And how long have you been at this location?
We only opened May 1st. This has only been in the works since October. So it's been crazy. Not even a full year yet of planning.
Not even a full year of planning, and they're here, and there's a line. And I have to tell you, Maya, I was coming in, and there was a line out the door, and I'm like, I swear, I'm working. I am not cutting the line.
Yeah, some people will fight you for that.
Tell me about it. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, but that's how you know it's good, folks. If you come into the cafe, and there's people that want to fight you for thinking you're going to cut the line. My apologies to those young ladies, by the way. So Maya, talk to me. This is a cafe that's a little unique.
Yeah,
What makes Sugar Tree different than your normal Main Street cafe?
Well, honestly, the idea of it began in October. The owner of the cafe actually owns LJ DJs.
Oh, cool.
So he's very into entertainment. He is a DJ, he's an entertainer. So that was the basis of all of this. Him and his wife sat down and planned everything with an event planner who designed everything. So it was a long process, but they had a good time doing it. They wanted a space because of COVID. They were like, everyone was separated, and they're all event planners and weddings and all this stuff that makes you happy and want to be together. We didn't have a place like that, and not a place like this. So this just came back into it.
I tell you what, that says a lot, folks, that the owner is a DJ, because walking in here, I mean, it looks like, kind of has like a hip type of club vibe here, you know, and certainly the clientele, who's much, much younger than me, are partaking in your goods here. So now, if you were to say that, what are some of your most popular items on the menu here? What would that be? And I know, folks, we're going to get to what we have in front of us because Maya made my jaw drop. My jaw doesn't drop much on the show because we've seen it all here, you know? But why don't we begin with why my jaw dropped, this first item that you brought out to me?
So we do latte art here. We can put your picture, a previous picture that you already have, or you can take a photo here and we can put it on your latte. And it's beautiful, it's very unique, it's detailed. You can see yourself in your drink. So you can drink yourself, and that's very unique for us.
And what did they do? They put the picture of yours truly, Peter Bia. I don't deserve this. I feel, like I said, so humble and special. On this latte, it looks so good that I don't want to drink it, but I'm going to take a sip. Is
Has
that okay?
caramel in it. I think you should go for it.
All right, here we go. Oh my God, I'm going to ruin my face. That's okay. I want to be the first and the last time, so. Wow, that caramel is good.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know what? My image is still on there, which I absolutely love.
Just blurred it a little.
Just blurred it a little, exactly, you know. I mean, you know, it happens on the poll sometimes, but you know, we'll talk to the editor later on about that. Anyway, so moving on here. Now, you know that I have a huge sweet tooth, or you were told that I have a huge sweet tooth.
Yes.
So this just looks like heaven on earth. You left me speechless for 2 seconds. You know? What do we have here?
So we have a chocolate salted caramel milkshake. It's chocolate ice cream, salted caramels in it. There's pretzels in it, mixed in. Fresh whipped cream, pretzels on top, caramel drizzle, and a pretzel to eat.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it for decorations. I was like, too late.
I mean, it still tastes good.
Oh my God, that is fun. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to embarrass myself.
Go for it.
I'm just going to take a chug.
Just go for it.
Yeah, I know Greg is laughing behind the camera. Don't worry. Here we go. Here we go. That was a lot of whipped cream, but I also had the chocolate, and it's coming down, and I'm going to do that for the camera. That is, oh, sorry, I don't mean to spit all over the food. Phenomenal. How many, so, it's a shake, but I feel like it's a little lighter. Maybe because of the homemade whipped cream.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a non-dairy whipped cream.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
And it tastes like the normal whipped cream that you get.
It's amazing. We just we do a lot of vegan shakes too here now. So we have a vegan joy and we have a strawberry cheesecake, so we have to have something to put on top of it as well. And regular whipped cream has dairy in it. So this one, being that it has no dairy, is the best bet, and it just lightens everything up.
That is fire. Fire.
We got to find the balance in all our food.
I mean, yeah. Speaking of balance, if you're going to eat one of these, you're going to either need a nap afterwards or the closest restroom, unfortunately. No, I'm kidding around.
Usually a nap.
Usually a nap. This looks like French toast.
It's a play on French toast. It's cinnamon. It's a cinnamon toast. The bread is thicker cut. It's deep fried. The jam is made fresh. There's jam on it. There's jam on the side. We have a hazelnut coffee cream cheese.
Oh my!
And then fresh whipped cream as usual.
That's the cream cheese to the,
yes.
By you. I'm just. By the way, you have utensils. You need to dig in.
Go for it.
All right. I thought this was ice cream at first.
No, it's a hazelnut cream cheese. It's house made. So we do everything here. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I can eat this every day.
I'm sorry to call it a French toast before.
Yeah, right.
Because this is way better than a French toast.
Facts.
Oh my goodness. It's a blast of flavors in your mouth. And that cream cheese, which I'm assuming, like you said, is homemade. Wow. It just gives that almost like that instant kick to it. Oh my goodness. All right. I have to ask you, what are your hours here? You know, can people find, because, you know, I want to come in at, you know, any time of the day and have this.
Listen, you can.
And this will be, and by the way, is this the portion size?
Yes, this is the proper portion size. This is how we serve it.
Oh my God, come in with your friends, folks. I mean, you know, you're gonna have to wait online, and don't cut, for the love of God, don't cut.
We're a big social media cafe. TikTok actually made us go viral multiple times with all the different food people that come in.
Wow.
So we try to make everything social media friendly. This is plated a specific way so that when people want to take pictures or they want to share with their friends, they have that option.
That is very cool.
Our biscuit and honey is served on like a half slate, like this, but half. Very pretty as well. We do get a lot of people that just want to come in and take pictures because of the environment. Right. So it's like a big thing for us.
That's incredible. And how difficult was it to open up, I guess to plan rather, during well, we're still in a pandemic. I mean,
yeah, we're still in it.
The CDC still says we're in a pandemic, so we have to say this. But how difficult was it to, you know, just to do with the whole planning process and to open up during the times that we're in right now?
We were very fortunate. Thankfully, the owner of the cafe, he also lives in the town.
Oh, excellent. And Nutley's beautiful.
So he's literally nearby. He grew up in the area, so he knows the town. The people love him. He was very much into bringing a New York environment here because there's nothing like this here. No. So he was blessed and fortunate. He worked very hard. Since October, he's put in so many hours. Him and his wife, because they have 3 little boys. Oh.
And by the way, Sophia, you were wonderful when I spoke to you on the phone yesterday. We missed you today, but thank you for giving us the incredibly talented Maya here.
Yeah,
Maya Kiana.
They've been very fortunate to get this open in such a timely manner, and through COVID, and thankfully our guests and our girls have been great to working together, and everyone that comes here is just so open and friendly. And
you hit the nail on the head, because I'm just sitting here and your customers are waving to me. I'm nobody important. I'm nowhere anywhere near Dave Portnoy. You know, but you know, your workers,
my baristas,
your staff was extremely nice.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, they're waving to me, and I'm like, hello, you know.
Yeah, they're extremely hardworking girls. Most of our staff are females. We have 2 male cooks now. One's our executive chef, and one's...
Keep them in the back, those females, right? No, I'm kidding.
Hey, but from top to bottom, it's very women-led. So the women empowerment here is very strong too, which is right there with us.
Amen. And certainly for years and years and years, it has not been like that.
Yeah.
And I like to see, I don't think we're there yet.
No,
but I think
not.
we're turning the corner, which is extremely important.
Yes.
All right, before we go to commercial break, because unfortunately we have to go to commercial break, and I'm starving, I want to dig into everything, and the shake especially. Tell the audience where they could find you on social media, what really are your hours here, and all that good stuff. So
we are open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sundays we're 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can order everything on our menu all day long.
Fantastic. And social media, I'm sure you're on Instagram and all
yes,
that good
we are
stuff.
on Instagram. It's Sugar Tree Cafe, and you can always email in info@sugartreecafe, and we respond to all our emails.
And apparently on TikTok as well.
Yes.
And
TikTok
Facebook
as well. Facebook as well.
Okay,
all the social media,
all
the whole
the
run
social
through.
media platforms.
But it's all under Sugar Tree Cafe.
All under Sugar Tree Cafe, and not even Nutley, just Sugar Tree Cafe.
Sugar Tree Cafe.
Excellent. Well, Maya Kiana, thank you so much for hosting us here and this wonderful food. you have to come out to 358 Passaic Avenue in the beautiful city of Nutley, New Jersey, and try this out. I mean, you know, just for the ambiance sake, and then the food to go on top of it is an extra, I don't even want to say bonus, it just gives let's just say the cherry on top of the sundae, correct?
I'll take that.
Exactly. Well, thank you again. I really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
Absolutely. Folks, we're going to continue our sweet episode here. We're going to a homemade chocolate store in Hoboken next.
Nice.
You're not going to want to miss it. We will be right back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. Welcome back to The Pulse. Peter Biancamano, now in the beautiful city of Hoboken, New Jersey, as we continue our sugar episode, I call it, our sweet episode. And there's nobody sweeter, folks, than the guy on my right. And he is, and most Hoboken people know that this gentleman needs no introduction, as it is Mario Lepore, owner of Lepore's Homemade Chocolates, located at 105 4th Street in, like I said, the city of Hoboken. Mario, what's going on? How are you, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's great to see you. Thank you for inviting us here.
Sure, anytime.
Exactly.
Guys.
So I am not going to ride the mechanical rides out here.
Why not?
All right. We might have to do it later on in the show. Exactly. So Mario, 41 years here in your original location, in this location, in the city of Hoboken. You were the last remaining homemade chocolate store, probably in Hudson County, definitely in Hoboken.
Yeah, definitely in Hoboken.
Why do you keep still doing it, Mario?
Well, because you got to keep the quality going. It's like, you know, it's a specialty chocolate, and once you taste my chocolate, you just can't go back. It's like,
and we were tasting it before the episode.
So
I mean, I'm
not,
surprised there's nothing in my teeth right now. And that's wonderful. And your clientele comes from all over the country to come to Lepore's, correct?
all over the world. Really.
All over the world?
Yeah, we
Wow.
have people from Japan and Germany and just about everywhere. South Africa, Australia, everybody from, they just come. When they're here, they just stock up and say, see you next year when we get back, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Of course, not last year with the pandemic stuff going on, but
right. And we're going to get to that. And speaking of which, you know,
Yeah.
the pandemic obviously took its toll on many, many small businesses. I'm sure chocolate stores weren't spared of how what the pandemic did.
Right.
How did you guys fare throughout it?
well, we fared through it, but it was a little difficult because it hit right before Easter, so that was like, ooh, you know.
Yeah. So, and all of the holidays are your busiest holidays?
Yeah. Well, each one has their own idiosyncratic way of getting you crazy. You know, Easter's all molded items. Valentine's Day is all strawberries mostly, chocolate roses, chocolate boxes. You know, and then Christmas is a lot of corporate orders. So you have a lot of different, you know, things going on with each different holiday.
So you would say that corporate orders for Christmas, it's really like the whole month of December is just insane. Until
Right.
New
It
Year.
starts from the middle of November until like
Wow.
New Year's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just curious, because I have certainly gotten chocolate covered strawberries for my sweethearts from Mario.
Sweethearts.
Oh, easy. Just one now, I swear. From Mario. How many pounds of strawberries do you go through on any given Valentine's Day? Let's say pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic, I would have to say probably about 40 flats, which
Wow.
is like, I don't know how many in pounds. I would say probably if they're like 2 pounds times a flat is like, you're looking at probably 180 pounds.
Of
easy.
strawberries?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pounds, folks.
Yeah.
Pounds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and you know, Mario, I always find it interesting because people have their crafts. Your crafts is making homemade chocolate, and you know, it's just unheard of these days. People just don't do it anymore as much.
It's a lost art, basically.
Exactly. When you started Lepore's back in 1980 at your original location, which was on 6th and Garden, I believe,
yeah.
correct, on the corner there.
Yeah.
How many chocolate stores were there in Hoboken? Do you remember?
I believe there was 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And little by little, they died out, and they left you here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. You know.
And like what gave you the motivation to go into home making chocolate? Like, you know, were you just making it as a kid? Did you learn from somebody?
No, when I was going to school in Europe, you know, was going to school in London.
Oh,
and then every summer we would have to go do something in like France or Italy or Switzerland or Spain. I always ended up either in a bakery or in a chocolate shop. And my major was Romance languages and art history, so I ended up, you know, doing that kind of stuff in bakeries and chocolate shops.
And the craft is still going on.
Yeah.
I mean, still here in Hoboken, right off the main drag, 105 First Street. You got to get over here and see Mario.
Yeah,
I mean, it's phenomenal. Now, talk to me about the most extravagant item you've ever made, chocolate-wise. You know, whether that be, you know, a big mold of the New York Ranger symbol, because Mario's a big New York Ranger fan, like your host here. We've been to games together. But your most extravagant item that you've ever made out of chocolate.
Extravagant? I would have. There's degrees of extravagant, you know. But
Okay.
I would
Your
say,
largest item, let's just say.
yeah, I would have to say probably the Eiffel Tower in chocolate.
Eiffel Tower in chocolate.
Yeah.
Was that a special order?
Yeah.
Wow. Who? Just some French guy? Or?
No, no, it was a Parisian theme that they were doing over at the Waldorf Astoria, and they wanted somebody to make an Eiffel Tower out of chocolate. So.
That is fantastic. So it's interesting because, you know, Cake Boss is only a few blocks away from here. Our good friend Buddy Valestra, he's a very nice guy. He makes these, you know, these extravagant cakes, you know, and people come in and they say, you know, I want a cake that looks like, you know, a whale, and they'll make it, you know. Can people come into Lepore's and say, I want a chocolate piece made that looks like, you know, St. Peter and Paul Church, just like a block away from here? And can you do it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you do the moldings for that and everything?
Well, a lot of it is done by hand, you know, hand carved, yeah. In other words, if you had to make a mold of that, then it would be very costly because you would have to job that out to a die cast, and they would take time to take pictures, and it would take, the process would be too overwhelming and costly for it. So you would have to do that by hand.
So Lepore's handmade chocolate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the title, folks. And I mean, it's a small, quaint little store. You don't have many employees. Of course, we have to give a shout out to our girl, Lucille Burke, who's one of your best workers inside. It's funny. We were
our
just
special events coordinator.
Oh, is that her title?
Yes.
Look at that. Excuse me, Lucille, our special events coordinator. You know, we were just at Sugar Tree Cafe up in Nutley, and the manager there said that she visits you. Maya's her name. At least once a week here, so you're really known all over.
Maya, I know.
The name sounds like you know who it is, exactly. But you know, one of the things that she talked about at her location was how her staff was so friendly. I mean, and folks, you're going to get that when you come into Lepore's.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I mean,
we talk a lot. Yeah.
About anything and everything.
Anything and everything. If you're a Ranger fan, then even that's it.
No, that's it.
You
exactly.
get the whole
By the way,
thing.
they, you know, even if you're not a Ranger fan, you still can come in.
of course, you
might get a dirty look, but that's okay. But the chocolate's still quality. So.
Exactly. You're not going to get stiffed. You're still going to get what you deserve.
Well, Mario, so talk to me about your hours here. You know, if people can find you anywhere on social media, Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. Anything that you want the audience to know. I'm leaving the floor to you.
Okay. Well, we have, right now we're on our summer hours, which are basically, you know, 1 to 5, you know, Monday through Friday. And every other weekend we're open.
Gotcha. Also 1 to 5?
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday, every other weekend in the summer.
Yeah. And then what do your hours change to in the fall?
Change after Labor Day, they become, you know, 11 to 7, 7 days a week.
7 days a week? Yeah. Wow. A lot of hours. And are you on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff?
Facebook, Instagram, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, find them on Facebook. That's all. Right. Mario Lepore, owner of Lepore's Homemade Chocolates, 105 4th Street. Come and see him. Come and see Lucille. And why wouldn't you? It's the only place around to do so, correct?
Might as well get a good treat while you're at it. Right?
And ride the mechanical horse.
Come in, get 1 piece or 12 million pieces, whatever you need.
It starts with 1. It usually ends with 12 million. Trust me. Thanks so much, Mario, for having us. I really appreciate it. Absolutely. Oh, a handshake and everything. I love it. Folks, we will be right back. Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. Throughout the last few weeks, we've been talking in great length regarding the Hudson County Republican Committee chairman race that's happening on Tuesday, June 29th, and we'll put the date at the bottom of your screen. And joining us on this special edition of The Pulse is Angela Maffei. Angela, how are you today?
Fine, thank you.
So Angela, your cousin, who you mentioned off camera was like a brother to you,
Yes.
Russell Maffei,
Yes.
was a longtime New Jersey State Republican Committee person,
Correct.
and really an icon for the Republican Party in Hudson County.
Yes.
I mean, and tragically, of course, about 4 years ago, exactly, Russell was killed by a drunk driving accident up in North Bergen. And of course, we send our biggest condolences to you
Thank you.
and your family
Thank you.
throughout this tough time. I mean, it has been 4 years. If you could just give us some of your thoughts of a man who was like a brother to you.
He worked his way up to the position that he had, and he never forgot the people who were working with him. So Russell was the type, if there was a mailing, if there were petitions, if there were phone calls, he did them himself. He was in the law office where the phone calls were being made, as was I, sometimes 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 nights a week for months. He didn't just sit back. He was responsible for a good amount of the work that got done in the county as to phone calls and mailings and petitions, because one, he was willing to do it himself and had done it himself. So if he gained anyone's attention or admiration, it was through hard work, and it also was through his integrity and his principles. Russell, was a helpful soul, regardless of what your political views were. If you were in need of a place to stay or food or what have you, he with no respect to your political leanings, if you were in need of basic necessities, he would help you. He was a very loyal Republican. He was loyal to his principles, and they weren't always popular. And he could have easily moved out of the county or the city if he had political aspirations beyond what he did, but he'd rather make policy and be a supporter to those who were running for office. And we miss him. It's just a void for anyone who knew him, because you knew when you worked for Russell, you did it on the principle of doing it. It needed to get done, and you had no expectation that somehow you were going to get this job, or it would have been, there was nothing expected in return. And I think for Russell, what he accomplished in a predominantly Democratic county without the level of financial or the numbers certainly impacted statewide politics well beyond Hudson County.
So unfortunately, Angela, his name, such a distinguished man, but his name is now being brought up in the political sphere again by the current Republican chairman of Hudson County, Jose Arango.
Yes.
And he's not shy about throwing his name out, whether on social media or anywhere else. As a family member of Russell, what's your reaction to Mr. Arango doing this?
Well, Russell was very loyal. Considering how Jose acted the night that Russell died, considering how Jose acted in the years leading up to his horrible death, I think it's somewhat disturbing that he's bringing up his name.
Wow, unbelievable. Well, you know that the audience knows that we've been talking at great length about the challenge that Mr. Arango is going to face on Tuesday from Josh Sotomayor Einstein, who's our political analyst here on the show. Just curious if you know Josh. He's obviously not here today. If you know Josh, and if you feel that Josh would certainly make a better chairman than Jose Arango is.
I'll be very blunt. I don't really know Josh. I know of him. I know the character or the lack thereof within Jose Arango. I know he's been in the position for very long. I know of actions and inactions he's done that have been counter to building a stronger party. So I guess if that's what people want to continue to have, they'll vote for Jose. I think if you're looking for a change, and maybe there's a hope for the change, even if it doesn't materialize, you know, if you continue voting for Jose Rangel, you're going to get much of the same. I cannot in good conscience vote for the man because of his actions that night. You know, he was, you know, basically a very callous individual that evening. I wrestle with that night as to what would have been different if maybe Jose would have put his own personal interests aside that evening. Because, you know, Russell died alone. And, you know, Jose didn't notify family for a good half an hour to an hour. There was a delay. And that was at the insistence of someone. I mean, it was a very callous event what occurred that night. I mean, the political meeting in the coach house continued in spite of Jose knowing that Russell and Marie had been hit. And frankly, his behavior at the hospital after Russell was already declared dead was quite disturbing. I just don't see how a person who does what he did, those actions are just indefensible. And so, you know, for someone to do that to someone who was loyal, who produced for him, who was at every one of his weddings, helped him move after every divorce, you don't do what Jose did, you know, looking to replace Russell that same night, having people already in position for his committeeship, for his municipal chair, let alone glad handing and introducing himself over Russell's body that night while he lay there dead, while we were waiting a priest to come to bless his body. It was very political of him, yes, but and very, very much him. But I just don't know how someone can do that to someone. I don't think I could have done that, not knowing the person, let alone the person you knew for 40 years, that you would shake hands over his dead body. So that alone is enough for me not to vote for him. Again, I don't know Joshua. I know he offers change. I think we need change. I think most people would agree you need a strong Republican Party, even if you're in a predominantly Democratic county, if only just to offer, you know, a counter voice. It's not good to have a one-party system. And I think, you know, it's just time maybe that you let other people pursue strengthening the party.
I don't think Mr. Rangel showed his loyalty.
From my perspective, I did not see it. And I think it was long before Russell's untimely death.
Right.
I mean, it was, I think, you know, when Jose gained new influence and position under the Christie administration, he seemed to have had forgotten the people who were with him the whole time through good times and bad. It's not easy to be a Republican in Hudson County.
No, obviously not.
It is not easy. It was not easy 20 years ago.
And it's not easy today.
And it is even more difficult today. My hope in doing this today was merely to ask that people stop using his name, stop using his memory, exploiting it for their own personal reasons. Let him be at peace. Let his legacy be what it is. Stop affiliating or attaching yourself to it. And if Russell was here, Russell had cancer a year or so before he died. He had beat it. It was 1 year out. It was 6 weeks after his 1 year checkup that he got killed. And I will assure you, there was a lot of contention, different political groups that he was affiliated with. And Russell would be the first to say, regardless of who wins, he would want there to be a unified voice. He would want people of true, even if you only have one person who has a principle in the party, you know, who stands by their principles, he would rather have a party with one principled individual than people who are just, you know, using it to circumvent the process. And you know, I can honestly say I have no, I was more involved with things because of the personal relationship than anything else. And most of the people I met over the years working with Russell are wonderful people. I doubt they knew what transpired that night. There are some people who did. And I understand why they may stand by Jose, and that's fine. But for me, I cannot vote for Jose.
Thank you again, Angela.
Thank
we really,
you.
really appreciate it. Folks, today's show was brought to you by The Dream Project. You can find out more information about our friends at The Dream Project at the link at the bottom of your screen. I'm Peter Biancamano. Join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. Have a great week, everybody.
The Pulse with Peter B. is a proud partner of Eyes on NJ.